Good morning, all of you. Today I'm going to tell you about fifth unit briefly. So, what is there in the fifth unit? Very easy to understand the fifth unit because it is more or less similar to your microprocessor and microcontroller. So the fifth unit is embedded communication protocols and Internet of Things. So previous classes we have already discussed about this communication protocols. We know that mostly we are using more three different communication protocols: SPI, ITC, and UART. These are the major communication protocols used in any of the embedded designs. So what type of communication types we are using? One is a parallel type, and the next one is a serial type. In serial type, we have two type of communications are established. One is asynchronous and synchronous. And coming to the parallel communication, so we know that the parallel communication is more costly than serial communication because we need to have more connections from source to the destination. So, but it was very faster. It was very faster than serial communication compared to. See here, this is the diagram it will represent. This is the serial transfer. This is the parallel transfer from source to the destination, sender to the receiver. How many lines are connected here? So this is more costly and more but more faster, more accurate will be there in parallel communication. For serial communication, it's slower and the low cost and somewhat delay compared to parallel communication. And this is the low cost, this is the high cost. And it will be useful for the long distance communication, we need to use for serial transfer. If you are going to use a short distance and effective communication purpose, we are using parallel transfer, it's the best suitable. So, and it will be used less time to transfer. It is serial communication requires more time to transfer your data because it is a single channel to transmit your entire data to the sender to the receiver. And also sender to the receiver bit by bit transmission is takes place in serial communication. But here all data will be transmitted at a time. All data is transmitted at a time. 1 minute. So, so this is the in serial communication, asynchronous and synchronous transmission. So asynchronous will comes under no need of clock. Here we are using UART, Universal Asynchronous Receiver and Transmitter. And synchronous transmission, they are going to use two different protocols, SPI and ITC. SPI means serial peripheral interface, ITC means inter-integrated circuit. See, why I am discussing again means in this unit, they may ask you the questions in what define UART, define SPI, define ITC. Definitely in your external exam, these three will be going to be present in your external paper. So that's why again I am discussing. Most of the people are absent, so that's why. And coming to the data transmission, in this data transmission, if the data can be transmitted and receiver, it is a duplex transmission. Here you can see if this diagram represent how many modes of transmission, how it will be transmitted. We know that in transmission, we know simplex communication, half duplex communication, full duplex communication. Simplex means the transmitter will send a signal to the receiver, right? Or receiver will send a signal to the transmitter at one time. But half duplex, you will transmit the signal and receive the signal at a time. And full duplex, either transmission, reception at a time you can do it. So this is the difference. Here you can see data is transmitted both way, same time. That is two transmitter to receiver, and two lines will be present over here. But here half duplex, the data is transmitted in two directional, but only one way at a time. This half duplex is example for walkie-talkie. Full duplex is useful for nothing but your mobile phone. And coming to the protocols we are using to transmit or receiving the information over the network. So, what type of protocols we are using? Here you can see various types of protocols: UART, I2C, SPA, microwire, and one wire. These are the different protocols we are using to transmit our data. So, what mode of transmission it was? UART is full duplex, peer-to-peer communication. I2C is half duplex, multi-master communication, and it was synchronous based. So like this SPI. So like this, we have a different serial protocols are used to transmit your data from source to the destination, and it will describe the mode of transmission and type of transmission, and the type of duplexing, and what data rate, what rate of information is transmitting. So, like this, different protocols are used uh, in uh, in transmission of serial communication. And coming to the baud rate, we know that what is meant by baud rate concept. Before going to know this baud rate concept, first you know about what is meant by bit rate. Bit rate means number of bits transmitted per second. So baud rate means number of bauds will be transmitted. Here you can see a data transfer rate in a serial communication measured in terms of bits per second. This is also called as a baud rate. Baud rate and BPS can be used interchangeably with respect to UART. So here means BPS means bauds per second. BPS means bauds per second. For example, in a baud, number of bits will be stored. See, at a time per second, how many bits you are transmitted, how many packet of bits you are transmitted. That is the difference, right? Here you can see he is given one example. Total number of bits get transmitted during 10 pages of text, each with 100 into 25 characters with 8 bit per character, and one start and stop bit. For each character, total number of bits are 10, and the total number of bits is 100 into 25 into 10, 25,000 bits per pages. For 10 pages of data, for 10 pages of data, it is required to transmit 2,50,000 bits. So generally, the baud rate of SCI is 1200, 2400, 4800, 90, 9600, 19,200. Means transfer to 2 lakhs 50,000 bits at a baud rate of 9,600. We need 25,000 2 lakhs 50,000 by 9,600. How many bits you are? How many seconds you are transmitted? So 26.04 seconds. Within the duration, you are transmitted entire your 2 lakhs 50,000 bits. So means at per second, how many bits is transmitted? How many bars is transmitted? 26.0 bars per transmitted. Right. And here we are using different types of synchronous and asynchronous interfaces. We already know that UART and SPI and I2C and USB. These are the different protocols we are using in serial communication. So we're going to see in diagram. So UART is a diagram which is represent. It is having one transmitter and one receiver. So here UART1 and UART2, maybe this one is a transmitter section, it may be a receiver section. Or this is maybe a source and this is a destination. Here the transmitter is connected, the source transmitter is connected to the receiver, and the source receiver is connected to the source receiver is connected to the transmitter section. So both are connected with the two-wire connectivity. So while you are using this two-wire connectivity, the loss of information was very less, because so you are giving a dedicated line for transmitter to receiver, and receiver to transmitter. So that's why here the loss of information is less, and also we need not to go for any synchronization here, because we are given dedicated wire to connect from source to destination, right? So here they are using different how many wires? 2 wires. Maximum speed is any speed up to 1,15,200 watts. Usually 9,600 watts they are using. So what type of transmission it was? It was a asynchronous transmission. So what type of communication? It was a serial communication. How many masters and slave? Maybe it acts as a master, it has a slave. It may be act as a master, it has a slave. So that's a one master, one slave. So how it will be work? Here, this is the diagram. It will be represented. Here you can see. So means you are sending your data bus is getting the 8 bit of information to a UART. The UART will going to transmit this signal, transmit this signal via transmitter to the receiver section, receiver port with help of one connecting wire. So how it will be transmitted? Here you can see 8 bits transmitted as a single line. It will be reaches to the receiver end. See here, UART transmitted data is organized into packets. Each packet contains one start bit, and 5 to 9 data bits, depending upon the UART. Any optional parity bit or 1 or 2 bits stop bit. Here you can see when UART is given in your exam, you have to draw this diagram. In this diagram, it represents, it is the packet formation of transmission of UART in serial communication. So you are sending a data. How much data you are sending? So 5 to 9 bits of data you are sending. That data is we call it as data frame. The data frame contains always data. So the initially, before going to send the data frame, first you should send the start bit. After that you have to give data frame. After that you will give the parity. If you want to give odd parity or even parity, based on this you have to give parity bits over here. After that, stop bit. Why we need to give the here start and stop bit means we have to differentiate packet to packet differentiation purpose. We are using start bit and stop bit for differentiating of your packets of information when the message is divided into number of packets, right? So when the packet should have a when to start, when to stop. We should give a specific identification for each and every packet, because when the packets is delivered from the source side, after reaching the receiver end, they all packets should be merged. So during the merging, so every packet should have a start and stop date. So during merging, the all stop bits will be removed and the end of the packet, and the data frame will be added. All the data frames will be added from the all the packets and give the information to your receiver. So this is the procedure, and this is the start bit how we are going to give, and data frame. The data frame contains a number of bits. It will giving the information about the parity. So you know that even parity or odd parity. That is the information you are going to see here in parity. Stop bit. Stop bit means you have to specify the data, how many bits data is present. After that, you have to specify from the bit number 9, the bit will be initiated, right? So this is the procedure we need to represent this UART. Here you can see transmitting UART. This is the start bit 0. This is the frames. So this is the data frame. Data frame is 0100011101. Here you can see this is the data bus 01001101. Here you can see 01001101. This is the data frame. This is the data frame, and nothing but data. What data is reaching from the data bus to UART. Okay, you need to transmit this information. During transmission you need to add start bit. After that, here you can see how many positive ones are there. 1 2 3 4. So it was the even parity. So that's why you are here given 0. If suppose here 0 will be there, so now the 3 ones will be present there. Then you need to give here +1, because you have to give even parity transmission. So this is the stop bit. This is the stop bit. The stop bit will indicate the termination of this or ending of this data frame. Okay, start bit will be going to initiate the starting of this data frame. The stop bit will be initiating the ending of this data frame in the packet. So this is the receiver section. Here you can see this is the transmitted section, how it will be looks like. The same as reversion receiver section UART. So here this is the processor data is transmitted from transmitter section to receiver section bit by bit. So here you can see. So this is the data which is received from the receiver end. So it will be given to the data bus. Okay, same 0 1 0 0 1 1 0 1. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of UART? So most of the cases we are using UART because only use two wires, no clock signal is necessary. As a parity bit allows for error checking, the structure of the data packet can be changed as long as both sides set up for it. And we well documented and widely used method. So this is the mainly why we are using UART means most of the places we are using UART because the loss of information is very less and we need not to give any external clock to this clock to this communication purpose UART. And the disadvantage is the size of data frame. Yeah, the size of okay, someone was raised your hand. Any doubts in that, please? Okay, okay. What doubt, Srilekha? Please unmute yourself and please tell me. Srilekha. Srilekha, please unmute. She was left. Okay. So, the disadvantage is the size of data frame is limited, maximum of 9 bits. That is a major disadvantage which is present in UART. It doesn't support multi-slave or multi-master system. So, baud rate each of UART must be within 10% of each other. So, first thing is here it supports only 9 bits. It will send only the limited number of data should be transmitted. So that's why it is somewhat disadvantage, and it doesn't support multi-slave and multi-master system. So multi-slave and multi-master system, if it is not supported, means it will not effectively used, right? So next, SPI communication protocol. So UART, it is having a problem of multi-master and multi-slave system doesn't support. But SPI communication protocol, which is going to be useful for multi-master and multi-slave concepts. See here, MOSI, MISAO, and SLC, SCLK, and SS and CS. Multi-master means here you can see MOSA, master output, slave input, master input, slave output, serial clock, and slave select and chip select. So these are the chip select. Based on this is the master and this is the slave. So here the line of master send the data to slave. The line for slave to send the data to master. So here the data will be in a bidirectional mode. Here you can see bidirectional mode. So SPI communication protocol used many different devices. For example, SD card module, RFID card read module, and it will work on 2.4 gigahertz wireless transmission. and SPI communication with microcontrollers. So what is this usage of SPI? Here you can see the diagram how it will be work. Here you can see it will support multi-slave concept. One master multi slaves, one master multi slave concept it will be support. So master send the data to the slave bit by bit in series, in serial through MOSI line. The slave receive the data sends from the master at MOSI pin. Data sent from the master to slave is usually sent most significant first bit. The slave can also send the data back to the master through MISO line in serial. The data sent from the slave back to the master, it is usually sent least significant bit first. So here you can see, here is the data transmission master to slave. Here you can see this is the serial clock is connected to serial clock, is a general clock system. Here the master outputs to the clock signal, and here the master switches the chip selector pin to low voltage state, which activates the slave. Means here you can see SS slash CS. SS means slave select, and chip select. If it is low, chip select and slave select pin low voltage state, then which will be activate the slave, when SS and CS will be low, then slave will be activated. When the master will be activated, the master send the data one bit at a time to slave along with the MOSI line. The slave reads the bit as they are received. Slave reads the bit as they receive. When the master will send, when the slave is active, when SS chip select low and slave select low, then only master will send the information to the slave MOSI. MOSI means master output, slave input. Master output, slave input will be activated. Master sending the data bit by bit, bit by bit. So here you can see. After that, if the response is needed, the slave returns the data. After receiving the data by slave, what will happen? If the response is needed, the slave returns the data one bit at a time to the master along with the MISO line. The master read the bit as they receive. Here you can see, after data is receiving from master to the slave, then the slave will be returned back MISO pin. MISO pin means master input, slave output. Here, master input, slave output. So, with this pin is activated, the slave will be sent the data to the master. So, means here at a time we can connect multiple masters and multiple multiple slaves with a single master. So, the advantage is there is some advantage and disadvantage of SPI. If you give if the given choose between different communication protocols, you should know the when the SPI according to the requirement of your project. Here you can see advantage. Here there is no start bit and stop bit because continuously data is transmitted without interruption. There is no start and stop bit. Continuously data is transmitted without interruption, and no complicated slave addressing system in ITC, and higher data transfer rather than ITC, because here continuous data is transmitting. So that's why here no data rate will be more because continuously transmitting. Here you need not to use any start and stop it. So that's why you are using this higher data rate you are getting when compared to ITC, and separate MISO and MOSI lines, so the data can be sent and received at the same time. So here you can see the disadvantage. User uses 4 wires. In ITC you are using 2 wires, here you are using 4 wires. So no acknowledgement data has been successfully received by there is no acknowledgement from source to destination, no form of error checking like parity or UART, like here no parity checking is not there, only allows for single master. Here in I2C there is no master and slave concept, but in this UART there is no master and slave concept, but also here in SPI, but one master, one slave. Sorry, ITC, one master and one slave. In SPI, one master, multiple slaves. Right, here you can see one master, multiple slaves. So here only one single master, it is a disadvantage. In UART, there is no master and slave, but in I2C, one master, one slave. Here in SPI, single master, multiple slave. So that is the disadvantage here in three different protocols. One more protocol is here you can see I2C, how it will be looks like. Here in ITC, only one master, one slave. See here, serial data transmitting from one master to slave. It is the bidirectional representation. And SCL, here you can see, this is a SCL, serial clock. This is a serial clock data. Here you can see serial clock. Here SDA and SCL. Just remember these two names. We'll see one thing here. Here, generally electrical characteristics of I2C. So mainly ITC anagane you have to draw this structure. So how the ITC structure will be? First start bit and 7 to 10 bits of address frame. After that reader writing data, and next one is acknowledgement bit or not acknowledgement bit. After that data frame 1, next acknowledgement or non-acknowledgement bit, next to data frame 2, and acknowledgement or non-acknowledgement bit, stop bit. Here in I2C, here we are sending two data frames at a time, with the address frame. So when you are sending each data frame, here acknowledgement bit will be present, here acknowledgement or non-acknowledgement. And also here you can see address frame, after address frame the read and write bit will be present. Here you can see, I will tell you what is the start condition. Here you can notice that here SDA, serial data and clock. So when both will be low, so here you can see starting condition. SDL line switches from high voltage to low voltage before the SCL, serial clock. Okay, line switches from high to low. Both should be high to low. Data and clock should be low. Then only it will be start. After that, address frame will be generated. How much the address frame? The address frame may be 7 to 10 bit sequence. That will be the unique to each slave, that identify the slave when the master want to talk to it. When the master want to talk to it, means here this is 1 to 7 address. This address is differentiate for each packet to each packet to packet. The address will be different, because based on the address only the slave will be identified whether the master want to talk to the slave or not. Okay, after this address, this single bit will be differentiate whether it is reading the data or writing the data from the address location. Reading the data or writing the data from the address location. After that, ninth bit, the next bit is acknowledgement or non-acknowledgement bit. Here you can see each frame in the message is followed by the acknowledgement or non-acknowledgement bit. If any address frame and data frame was successfully received, the acknowledgement is returns to the sender from the receiving device. This will be useful. This will be useful whether the data will be transmitted successfully from source to the destination or not. by passing the acknowledgement to your receiver, acknowledgement to the receiver. So that is the thing here I explained here. So here you can see on the if address frame or data frame successfully received, if the address frame or data frame successfully received and an acknowledgement bit is returned to the sender from the receiving device. Acknowledgement is sending from the receiving device. This is the process of here address, reading, write, acknowledgement. After receiving the acknowledgement, the data is transmitted 8-bit, 1 to 8-bit. After that, it will again send the acknowledgement whether this data is reached or not. Once the acknowledgement is successful, next data is transmitted 1 to 8-bit. After that, again acknowledgement is sending. So to the source, to the destination. Whether this acknowledgement is successfully reached, received by the receiver to the sender, so then the total then it will not again need not to be sent again this data frame to, because already successfully received by the acknowledgement here from the source to from the destination to source. So next one is stop bit. This is the one packet of information how I2C is transmitting. One packet of information how I2C is transmitting. This is addressing and read and write bits and data frames. It is going to be explained like this. Here you can see one master, multiple slaves. So here you can see here address is different, here address is different, here address is different. Means a master is differentiating, sending the data from different slaves with the different addresses. Okay, different slaves with the different addresses. So that's why here the address is going to be changed by master time to time when sending the data from master to different slaves. Okay, so the next one, this is the procedure diagram. This is a representation for a single master and multiple slave concept. Here, this is the diagram. I2C bus connection. So here you can see SDA and SLC. So what are the advantages? There is a lot of I2C that might make it sounds complicated compared with other protocols, but there are some good reasons why you may or may not be wants to use the I2C connect to the particular devices. What are there? Only uses two wires, support multiple master and multiple slave, acknowledgement and non-acknowledgement bits given confirmation to each frame transmitted successfully or not. Hardware is less complicated than UART, well known and widely used protocol. The main reason is here multi-master and multi-slave concept is present in this I2C. So that's why we have to give more priority to the I2C. And here one more thing also there, the disadvantage is slow data rate compared to SPI. The size of data frame is limited to 8 bits and more complicated hardware needed to implement than SPI. So these are the few things will be present. And next one is universal serial bus. So here we already know about universal serial bus USB. So USB designed in 1995, developed by different industrial leads like Intel and Compaq and Microsoft and IBM. These are the different companies they are designed. So mainly USB offers simple connectivity. So simple connectivity means with the help of USB device, we can connect a printer, keyboard, mouse, and other peripherals also we are going to connect. So because USB bus allows many peripherals to connect use a single standardized interface socket. So that's why it supports all kind of data from slow mouse input to digitized audio and compressed video also. And here main advantage is here